So we got to talk about Graham Platner, but more so the reason why we have a Graham Platner. Yeah, the senator or the would be, okay, because he's officially dropped out. He was supposed to be running against Susan Collins in Maine for Senate, the guy who has been accused of RAPing, RAPing all types of women and other things as well. Yeah, that guy. Well, it turns out that that whole entire story, that whole entire situation is a lot crazier than just that. I know. Pretty wild, man. And it's really quite interesting. I want to jump into it. And I want to talk about a guy by the name of Daniel Moraf. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I played a clip for you guys probably, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, a couple of weeks ago, I don't know, of a gentleman who was responsible for recruiting Graham Platner. I know his voice is terrible, but here it is.
At this point, you hadn't vetted Graham Platner. You hadn't done a full scrub of who he is. How did you go about vetting him? And why did you?
We paid a nice firm a whole chunk of money and got some stuff back. Some of what you've seen on the news we got back. Other stuff we didn't.
Did the vetting process turn up the tattoo that became so controversial?
No.
The Reddit posts, did that turn up in the vetting process?
The firm sent us a thing, and it had some of the posts, but it didn't have all of them.
And what did you think about that? How did you think your way through the fact that he had posted these things on social media?
I said none of this will or should stop him from becoming a U.S. Senator.
And what was your thinking there?
Agree. I think if what the voters wanted were people who were grown in vats and had never done or said anything that they might regret their entire lives, we'd have a very different country. Part of our thesis here is that people do not want their candidates grown in vats. They want people who are real human beings, and they want people who do not look and sound like the vat-grown people who've been leading this country off a cliff for the last century. And that was Graham.
Just days after this interview, more details about Platner's past emerged.
Yeah, I said that, this stuff shouldn't actually... My goodness, man. Lots of interesting folks on this planet, that's for darn sure. That guy, as you heard there, was responsible for basically recruiting Graham Platner and getting Bernie Sanders' endorsement, which is also hilarious because Bernie Sanders basically endorsed Graham Platner like 2 weeks after Graham Platner launched his campaign. So he barely even knew who Graham Platner was, but he came out and endorsed him, said he was this amazing guy, this great guy, all of this nonsense, and it turns out he was a piece of shit. So the funny part about all of this, well, it's not funny because of what happened, but it's funny because they always accuse Republicans of being these horrible, terrible, no good, very bad people. But in reality, as it always plays out, because once again, Democrats always accuse Republicans of what they are or of what they do. And we have another case of that with this Daniel Moraf guy, that guy that you just heard with the horrible voice, because, yeah. Let me put myself on the screen there for you all and expand this. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Platner's Daniel Moraf barred from Summer Lee's campaign over sexual misconduct complaints. What do you know? Goodness gracious, you can't make this stuff up. Graham Platner, accused of SA, or rape basically, at least with this latest chick. Eric Swalwell, you guys remember Eric Swalwell? Yeah, I know it's been a little while, but Eric Swalwell had to literally drop out of California's race because of that same thing. And now we're getting reports that this guy Daniel Moraf, the guy who was responsible for actually recruiting, I believe he was recruited Summer Lee as well, and Graham Platner. Look at this. Barred from her campaign because of sexual misconduct complaints. Yep. Amazing, right? Amazing. Crazy stuff. And what's even crazier, because, and I talked about this in a previous video about champagne socialism, I want to read a little something, because these folks always come from money. These communist types. Graham Platner's guru and top strategist, Daniel Moraf, was the grandson of Seymour Ginsburg, one of the founders of Toys R Us and its first president. The guy who's recruiting folks to try to push America into communism or socialism, yeah, he's a rich kid. If you guys haven't seen my champagne socialism videos, definitely check them out. These folks always come from money. They always come from money. All of them do. It's crazy how it works. Even the people that support this stuff, it's a bunch of rich, white, privileged kids who went to these prestigious universities, right? That are now, oh, well, I can't live in New York City in a high rise, so I'm angry. I want socialism. And it's just like, bro, what? It's wild how it works, man. It really is. But let's get back on topic, okay? Because we got to talk about this sexual misconduct situation. So, by the end of 2022, Moraf was barred from participating in Lee's historic run for Congress, in which she overcame a $5 million in AIPAC spending to become the first black woman elected to Congress from Western PA. Payday Report has learned that Moraf was barred from Lee's campaign following at least 3 complaints of sexual misconduct leveled against him, leading Lee to ban Moraf not just from his previous leadership positions in her campaign, but from even attending campaign events for Lee. In the winter of 2022, consultants working for the group Justice Democrats, who were assisting Lee, told activists, staff, and volunteers to stop communicating with Moraf despite his repeated attempts to contact them to influence Lee's campaign. Given that both Lee and Justice Democrats were refusing to work with Moraf after multiple sexual misconduct claims against him, questions are raised about what people in the movement should have done to address these. Yeah. And look at Bernie. My goodness. What a, you know what? There's so much I can say about Bernie, bro. So much I could say. But anyway. Following Lee's dismissal, Moraf struggled to find work as a political consultant. He instead focused his efforts on attending Yale. Yeah, so I just got accused of, you know, some sexual things with some ladies. So I'm just going to go attend Yale. Like, who does that? Only a rich kid is able to do some stuff like that. Only a rich kid. I'm going to step out of politics for a minute. Let me go back to a prestigious school. Like, what? In 2024, Moraf and his partner, Leanne Fan, who's the Asian-looking chick that was sitting beside him in that earlier video, traveled out to Nebraska to recruit Kellogg strike leader Dan Osborne to run for Senate as an independent, riding the popular support he received as a strike leader. Osborne exceeded expectations in his race against two-term Republican Senator Deb Fisker, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, losing to her by a mere 6%. Moraf, with his career revived, sought to build on his brand as a consultant by recruiting other unusual politicians who could appeal to white working class voters. In the summer of 2025, Moraf was sent the video of Platner advocating against an industrial salmon fishing farm where Platner lived in Fitchman Bay, Maine, a wealthy seaside community outside of Bar Harbor. Yeah, what do you know? Graham Platner, wealthy seaside community. All these folks come from money. It's crazy. None of these folks actually are poor. But they want to take more of your money. Weird how that works, ain't it? A Marine combat veteran from an elite, wealthy Maine family, Platner served 4 tours in combat overseas. After returning from combat, he attended George Washington University in D.C. while working as a bartender at one of the Capitol Hill's most infamous dive bars, the Tune Inn. So yeah, crazy stuff. The guy who was responsible for recruiting Graham Platner has actually been accused of some of the same things that Graham Platner was accused of, which, hey, maybe that's why Moraf said that, you know, some of the things that he found shouldn't have stopped him from becoming a senator. Because they had similar history. Wild how that works, ain't it? Pretty darn wild. Absolutely crazy. But yet, Republicans are the horrible, terrible, no good, very bad folks, right? We're always the terrible ones, but they're literally pushing forth people with Nazi tattoos, people who have said racist things online, people who have what sounds like to me credible accusations of RAP. Yeah. And the folks who are responsible for recruiting them had some of the same allegations. Wild how that works. Wild. But once again, I'm not surprised, because on this journey that I like to call discovering the truth, one of the things that I have learned, and I said this earlier, is that Democrats always accuse Republicans of what they are actually doing or of what they've already done. It's just facts. Republicans are cheating. Republicans are cheating in the elections. No, we're not. But now I know that you guys are. Thanks. You just told on yourself. You guys have done this time and time again, and every single time I find out that you're actually the one that was doing this stuff. Oh, Republicans are rapists and your party is being ripped apart because of all of these accusations of RAP. Like, it's crazy. So who's really the ones doing this? Sounds like y'all. And it's also crazy because they always make it sound and seem as if, you know, the Democrat Party is like the party for women, and, you know, all of their men, you know, love women and all of this other stuff. And it's like, bro, y'all out here, y'all doing this? That's what you call, like, wild. Absolutely wild. But as always, get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Are you surprised? I'm not. Not at all. But as always, stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.